Bruiser. I'm going to ask this lovely lady here some questions about her business. So my first question is, what is your name? What is your title? And what do you do?
Okay. I'm Sabrina Thompson. I am the owner of Bella and Bruiser, and I make baby and children's clothing in like funky rockabilly style.
Awesome. So it's kids' clothes, but it's got a little bit of a different edge to it?
Yes.
Awesome. I love it. I've seen your stuff, though, disclaimer, so I know that it's awesome.
Thank you.
All right. And when did you start your business?
I started probably, I want to say when my second son was born, like officially started.
Okay.
And so from that time I started sewing clothes for him, pants, onesies, stuff that like I couldn't find in the store.
Awesome.
Because everything was like baseballs and bears.
Right.
And, like,
Yeah. It's
really
very
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started sewing for him, and then like once my niece was born, and then I had my daughter, kind of bam together.
Yeah.
I started really getting into it. Making girl clothes is a lot of fun. So boy
Yeah.
clothes is fun, but girl clothes is a whole different
Yeah.
ball game. So I think like officially started Bella and Bruiser in, I say like 2008 maybe.
Okay.
And so I've been doing it since then. But I went to design school.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
And so I was designing for women and stuff then when I was in design school, and then kind of switched in like full time into kids stuff. I was
Okay.
already doing kids stuff then. But
Right, but you kind of were shifted your focus.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it was kind of like born out of necessity. You were like, this stuff in the stores is ugly. I need better stuff. I
Yes.
agree. Sometimes I look at little kids' clothes and it is. It's all like face models or like a dump truck. It's like, why can't it? I like your stuff especially, and any sort of kids' clothes I like where it's almost like a big person's clothes just shrunk down. I think it's the cutest thing. Like,
Exactly.
It's like you're an adult. Like sometimes I look at Pinterest on like the kids style like stuff, and I'm just like the little mini adults. It's just
They're
fun.
like little, yeah. They do. Well, and I don't think kids' clothes should have to be something that's like this cutesy frilly. Like it used to be like you dress your kids up like a doll.
Yeah.
And I think it really should be like they should dress like you're gonna dress. It should
Right.
be a reflection of your style and
Yeah.
like their own style.
Yeah,
If their kids
exactly.
are into something, like my daughter's really into the stuff her older brothers are into. So
Right.
comic books and Star Wars and things that
Right.
like she sees them watching. That's what
Right.
she grew up with.
Yeah.
She wants to wear that.
That's so cool.
It makes it hard though. Like
Yeah.
girl Star Wars stuff doesn't exist.
Right.
You
So
know.
You're like, hey, I'll
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
exactly.
Yeah, she custom made 2 Star Wars dresses for my nieces for
Yes.
Christmas, and they were the cutest thing ever. And then she did 2 Frozen ones too for my
Yes.
other nieces. They're like the cutest
Frozen
things ever.
is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. My niece like freaked out when she opened the
Yeah.
package and just pulled the big skirt out. She was like, "Oh my god!"
That's
Like,
awesome. I
She
love
had a
it.
heart attack. It was amazing. Have I showed you? I'll send you a picture if I
You have to send me pictures.
Okay. Okay. So, is your gig full time, or do you do another job?
No, I do this full time. I'm super lucky that my husband lets me just stay home with the kids and do this full time. I get to take kids to school and go to parties and events and do fun things with them, and then do this all
Yeah.
day, every day.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
kind of what I'm trying to like set up for, so that when I
Yes.
have kids, it's the same thing where it's like, because I already am working full time at my business too, but it's like that's why I want to be able to do it. You know, so then when I have kids, yeah, I get to take them to school. I get to, you know,
Yeah.
make dinner and do all those things and not be stuck at work. So
I worked at
when
a
it's
corporate-
possible, yeah.
Yeah, I worked at a corporate job. I was there when my second son was born for his whole first year. I worked in an office, and it was not awesome. I hated every second. I mean, just having to go back to work when he was a baby
Oh,
was awful.
I
And
can't
so
imagine, no.
to be able to do this and like start picking it up full time and then be home with my daughter made
Yeah.
a huge difference, and get to be home with the kids now and stuff.
Yay!
It's very cool. So
That's
it's
so
a
cool.
very good goal. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love when you can kind of do both. Like,
Yes.
I think a lot of like businesses are born because of that reason. When they have kids or they're getting ready to have kids, people are like, how can I work for myself so that I can kind of flex? Because
Get to do both.
I mean,
things,
it's not always possible though. Sometimes you just both parents have to work. So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's
when you don't
definitely
have
a lucky break if you get to stay home and,
Yeah.
and still do what you love
to. Exactly.
and get to be with your kids. It's
Yeah.
just like tops.
All right. So my next question would be, what does your best work day look like?
Oh my gosh, my best work day would be take the kids to school, stay in my jammies all day long, because that's the best.
I know, isn't it?
Work in my jammies all day, and then I sit down. I hate cutting patterns, so if everything is already cut for me, then that's like
the best.
absolute blissful. And I'll sit down and just sew, because like sewing is zen for me. I can just
Yeah.
piece out, turn on my music, and like sew all day.
Yeah.
So that's like the ultimate day. Everything
Yeah.
is already cut. Some sort of little genie put it all out
Yeah.
for me, and I can just sew.
That's so funny. The last interview I did, that's what we were talking about too, is she makes soap, and she's like, if I could just make soap and not have to do anything else, that'd be amazing. And that's how I feel. Like, if I could just take pictures and not have to edit them, not have to email people, not have to worry about invoices and paying and money stuff, and just take pictures, and that was all I did. But
it's like perfect.
But at the same time, it's like you have to do those other things to allow you to do the fun part. So
that's true.
At least you're doing it for yourself and not for somebody else.
That's true. Yeah, and I don't mind the other stuff. It's just like
it's not as it's not as fun as the actual like meat and
pattern cutting
meat of what you do. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So that's like this
that's
is awesome.
The best.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what would your worst day look like then? Cutting
Probably
patterns?
pattern cutting day, or like the day that my kids are sick. So I get like started with something, and then school calls, and I have to go pick up everybody, and then I try and come home and keep sewing, or I'm in the middle of something and I have to keep stopping for some reason.
Yeah,
that to me, like the breakup of having to quit in the middle of a project is hard. If I can just sit and sew through something,
start to finish.
Yeah, I don't know why, but like that headspace is better for me. So if I have to stop in the middle it's
hard to get back into it sometimes.
And sometimes like it ends up going into my unfinished project. And it never gets done.
Never gets
because I kind of like lose the mojo and I'm like done.
Yeah. All right. So what are you most proud of with your business?
I think I'm most proud of getting to be home and doing what I do full time. Like that's a huge accomplishment, and I'm very proud of that. I'm also pretty proud that my daughter in one of my outfits was featured for my business in a national magazine, a little picture of her, so that was very cool. And we've been on Your Life A to Z a few times, which is like a local morning show, like comes on after the news. And so that's really fun. We get to do a little fashion show, and then my sister's on there, so she mentions me like time to time whenever it's appropriate. So that's kind of fun too.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, Phoenix has really good like local business support. I feel like
yes,
a lot
definitely
of
do
like programs, and just people are very into like the local Phoenix like handmade scene. So we're lucky.
We are very lucky.
Awesome. So who's your biggest supporter?
I think my biggest supporter, well, it's like a mix of people. So it's like my husband is huge because he lets me do this full time. Yeah. He lets me buy fabric and have a room of my house to put it all in and work out of. And, you know, he's never like been like, you have to go get a regular job or anything, you know. So, I mean, that's really cool. And then my family, like my parents come and help me vend at shows. They'll come set everything up and stay with me all day, and my sister will come and help from time to time. So I have a lot of family support that helps keep me going.
Yeah,
I need it.
Definitely, that's important to have, because it's not something I feel like you can just do. Like, you kind of say you're like a one-woman show, but really it's like not really. You have like a ton of people that are kind of helping you out and kind of you know, talking to you, you're like, you can do this, because it's very, like, it can wear on you, and you're just like, I'm done, like, I'm over it, it's, like, I'm just gonna go sit in a cubicle, and they're gonna pay me my hourly, and I'm gonna know what my paycheck's gonna be, and it's gonna be the same every 2 weeks, instead of, like, 1 month you're making twice as much as the next month.
Right, like, and then you have to, like, live lean for
you're
a
like,
month.
What's happening? And it's, like, all over the place, but it's worth it in the end, because you're not, like, answering anybody else. You're, like, I mean, you're answering to your customer to a certain extent, but you're working for yourself and doing what you love.
You don't have to, like, for me, it's, my brain just goes too much, like, I think, like, I worked in a corporate office, and it's too much, like, for my, I have to have the creativity, a creative outlet to, like, keep going for me, I don't do well in an office.
No,
it's not a good space for me.
Me neither. Yeah, I had an office job for a couple of years before I, like, quit and started doing full-time photography, so it was definitely, like, I think about, like, sometimes I'm like, I should just go back to that, it'd be so much easier, and then I'm like, oh my god, like, I would have to sit in the same spot for 8 hours and listen to what somebody's telling me, and it would just,
I can't rock out to my music,
you know, some people it works for, though, like, honestly, but I think, there's just a certain, like, type of person that just, like,
that's what I
and once you get a taste of working for yourself, it's like,
why would you ever go back? Even if you have to live lean, even if you're like you know, counting your slices of bologna at the end of the month, like, you figure it out, because it's like, it's the best to just, I mean, I definitely have those days where I'm like telling my husband, just close the room and burn it down, like, I'm so over this, I'm never doing it again, and you know, he has to, like, kind of talk me off the ledge. And then I'm all better. Like, the next day I'm all better. But, you know, you have those days.
We should have, like, a support group for all of our, like, fiancés, husbands, boyfriends. And be like, all right, you guys just go complain about how annoying we are when we get in that mode. Because,
I'm sure my husband has, like, a list somewhere of, like, the times that I've been like, that's it, I'm done. And he has, like, a checklist. And like, just, okay, she did this today. And tomorrow she'll be here.
Yeah, exactly.
I just have to get her here.
Yeah, let's just get her over there. Yeah, definitely. Awesome. So, what is your biggest distraction, or what causes you to procrastinate?
I think working at home is a huge distraction for me because, like, I'll be sewing along and doing fine, and if I get up and, like, go out for a drink of water or go to the bathroom or something, then, like, I end up cleaning the house and doing
you're like 2 hours later, you're
things.
like, wait, I was just answering an email. Where am I?
And I always, like, my thing that I say is, like, anything glittery out of my peripheral vision. Like, I just see something that I'm like, oh, look at that. I'm sure I have to do that right now. I mean, should probably be coloring and not sewing this, because what I needed to do was design a whole new thing and not finish this other thing. So I have kind of a... Yeah. I think I read something about, like, having too many tabs in your brain open. Yeah. That's exactly what it's like for me.
See, and I have that on my computer also, so it's not only in my brain, it's also there.
Me too.
Yeah. I know, I did that the other day. I was, like, trying to do a bunch of things, and, like, for me, too, it's a lot of times, like, I'll have something, like, uploading to send to somebody or, you know, transferring. Yeah. And so I open another tab, and I'm like, well, I'll just do this while I'm waiting, and then I'll go back to that. And then it's, like, an hour later, and I've designed a whole something in Photoshop, or I've edited a whole set, and then I'm like, oh, I was going to keep uploading those. And they're probably like, why did she, like, just send me one? Or, like, what's going on?
My son teases me all the time. He's like, the joke now is, like, I go from doing something, like, I'm looking at a pattern, or I'm doing something, like, work-related. I'm loading something on Etsy, to, like, all of a sudden I'm on Pinterest. So, like, his joke is coming in, and he's like, Mom, are you on Pinterest?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I am. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, my fiance will walk into the office, and he's like, I thought you were working. And I'm, like, looking on Tumblr. I'm like, it's visual, like, stimulation, you know? I need the creative
still work.
Like...
You're, like, studying.
Exactly.
I'm with you.
I mean, to a certain extent. But sometimes I'm just straight up looking at, like...
No, I'm usually just straight up. But, like, it all goes somewhere, right?
It does.
It's all
like,
being
you
stored
got that little
somewhere.
page in there. Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So, my last question is, where can people find you? And I will list it below for everybody to actually, like, click and find. But where can we see you?
I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, although I don't tweet very much.
I don't think most people...
Everybody,
like, kind of has a Twitter, but they're just like...
I know. I don't even know what people do with that anymore, so it's there. And I'm on Etsy, so my shop is on Etsy. I have a website that will take you to all those places if you can't find them. And then I do events around the valley, so I will be doing... I don't even know, a series of events coming up.
So if we follow you on Facebook,
season now,
you'll post.
Yeah, I try and make sure that everything is on Facebook, and I'm getting better about my Instagram now so that people will know what's coming up. And so, like, usually a week or so ahead.
Instagram is definitely kind of taking over Facebook. I've noticed that everybody I'm asking, they're like, and I'm on Instagram, because
Instagram
you post on Facebook, but... who knows if they see it? Like,
well, and you don't really want to read, like, everything. You want to see the picture, and then maybe read it.
Exactly.
So,
I know.
pictures.
That's why I like Instagram too. I get on Facebook and I'm just like not even reading anything.
Boring.
And then you're on Instagram, and you're like, ooh, yeah.
And there's still, like, I've noticed too, like, my mom and, like, other people are still really into Facebook and don't have Instagram, so I'll still do both.
Right. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
and it's you can link it and
exactly. And Facebook has, like, you know, you create events, so a lot of time I'll link to the events. People know where they're going and where it's at and all that stuff. So
awesome.
It helps.
Cool. Well, I'll put everything below. Definitely want people to check your stuff out and make your kids look pretty. Because they're ugly. No, I'm just kidding.
They need help.
That sounded so mean. Let's make your kids pretty.
More pretty. Better.
Pretty.
More fashionable.
There you go. Perfect.
More fashionable.
Awesome. Well, thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching, guys. Bye. Was it recording that time? Yes, it was.